And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to host internationally best-selling author Lemony Snicket live and in the flesh today.
What?
Next reading is Daniell Handler, here to spill the tea, as the cool kids say, about his brand new book, Poison for Breakfast. Daniell, Lemony, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. It's very kind of you to have me.
Yay!
Very nice to meet you. It's very nice to say hello to random people who are watching someplace. I can't see you, but I know you're there.
Yay!
Hi, how are you? Yes, Poison for Breakfast. I happen to have a copy of it here too. It is a new book. There's the author's name in gold. I've learned that when I'm on screen, you have to tilt the book this way and that for the maximum disco effect of the gold lettering.
I'm here for the maximum disco effect.
Yeah. No one, I mean, if you're going to go disco, you want to go all the way or you want to go home.
I really
There's no half disco.
There's no half disco.
No. Some artists have tried to make half disco, and I only half like it. Poison for Breakfast is about the bewilderment of living in the world. It's about how the confusion and sinister paranoia that is thrown at you day and day can leave you in a state of confusion and torment, constantly mulling on your own mortality. But that it's okay, that when you are bewildered and when you are confused, it's probably the closest you're coming to understanding where you are. It's also about Lemony Snicket finds a note saying you had poison for breakfast, and he begins to investigate the sinister possibility that he's already been murdered. And as with all murder mysteries that I like best, it ends up being mulling on our own mortality and death in general. Also on a Nina Simone song, a couple of old movies, some favorite authors, some little scraps of poetry, a confusing cultural history of colonialism and musical identity. You know, things like that.
Well, in the words of Nina Simone, I'm feeling good and I'm ready for a great time tonight.
I'm also ready.
I'm ready for
enthusiasm and contagious. I like this both.
I'm ready for my Lemony disco time. I want to get into every dirty detail about poison.
Dirty?
I just want to welcome everybody who is watching with us on Facebook, on YouTube, with Murder by the Book, on my channels, in my private Facebook group, wherever you're logged on from. You're in the right place because you're surrounded by mystery and thriller fans. Welcome. If you've been here before,
welcome. We're happy that you're here.
We're so happy.
You may feel lonely staring at a screen. You may say to yourself, am I doing it again? And am I just staring at a screen? I was supposed to do something with my life. Is this really what I should be doing? And the answer is yes, because we're happy to spend this time with you.
Yay. Tap, tap. Is this thing on?
I think it's on.
Yay.
I feel on. I feel sufficiently energized and ready. What would you like to discuss, Ms. DiVello? Tell me.
Me too. All right, y'all. If you've been here before, you know how it works. And if you're new, we're so happy to have you. Welcome. You're in the right place. Here's how it works.
I'm new at it. I've never done this before.
For hashtag Mystery Monday, because you know Mondays can be murder, wink. I give you my handpicked authors, and you get to ask them anything. So ask Mr. Snicket, Lemony himself, Daniell Handler, Lemony's handler, so to speak. Anything that's weighing on your brain. Ask him about poison for breakfast. Ask him anything. Get the questions going in the comments. I want to welcome Rebecca. Welcome Karen. Welcome Michael. Welcome Randy. Welcome Ivy. Hey Jeff. Welcome Wendy. Welcome Jan. Welcome Susan. Welcome Bonnie. Welcome Leslie. She says hello from Canada. That's her signature Canadian hello. Leslie, welcome back. Always a pleasure to have you. Yeah. Lori Lee says hi, Sarah. Hi, Daniel.
Lori Lee.
Hi, Lori Lee. Mystery and Thriller Maven members there. Good to have you ladies with us tonight. All right. So any questions you have for Lemony, for Daniell, for Mr. Handler, get them going in the comments and I'll get them right over to you. Hey, Brenda, good to have you. Now, I'm going to kick off. Daniell, why are you so obsessed with death? Why are you bringing us down?
Is it bringing us down? I think from the moment I knew that our time here was limited, it became something of interest to me. When I was young, I liked to read about terrible things or the possibility of terrible things happening. Ooh. I liked to, brood on time passing.
Yes,
I like to take pauses in the middle of sentences so that we could all think about death just a tiny second. And so when I started writing, particularly for children, I thought that examining in a mock miserable way the inevitable passing of time and the defeat of all human effort in the face of our own mortality just seemed like a good time to me.
Ooh, well, I am a brooder, lifelong brooder. I was a broody little kid. I was a kid who worried about time passing, who worried about death, who
Oh
worried
yeah? What made you feel better when you were brooding?
uh I was pretty much inconsolable, but
Oh,
eventually I
really?
would, I would just sit and brood and think about the weighty matters of life.
I like
Um,
thinking about that. I like thinking about you as an inconsolable child. That's a great
I
ad.
really was. I was like, we're all gonna die, and everyone was like, "You're 7, calm down."
Yeah. But where are some of those
Leslie,
people now? Dead. That's where
ex-
some of them are. All those
exactly.
people who told you to calm down are now dead.
Yeah, exactly. Serves them right. Leslie saying she's dark as well. Leslie, spill the tea. Why you so dark, girl? So Lemony,
It's Canadian.
Daniell.
I think it comes natural to Canadians to be dark.
Ooh, do you consider yourself a comedian?
I don't know how I could consider myself a Canadian because I'm not born, nor do I live in Canada. Um,
Ooh.
I live in the United States, which is a troubled country just to the south of Canada for people who don't know. But the Snicket books were first quite popular in Canada. And the editor of a series of Unfortunate Event is a Winnipeg-born Toronto resident now. And so I think some of the inevitable or the inherent darkness, rather, in Canadians has rubbed off on me, if you will. But when the books were first launched, they were quite popular in Canada before they were even popular in the United States. And it was a little funny to go in and out of the borders of the countries and sometimes have like 4 people come to the bookstore and sometimes have like 200 people come to the bookstore, depending if I were in Canada or the United States. So I salute you, the gloom of Canada.
Oh, Canada, we salute you.
Yeah.
Cindy saying learning how to brood and find the entertainment in it can be and be able to laugh is a great tool to learn. Cindy, totally agree. Lori saying brooding makes you a better writer. That's my excuse. Daniell, does brooding make you a better writer?
Yes, because I think brooding is really just kind of a fancy and perhaps quirky synonym for contemplation. And
Ooh,
obviously,
okay.
when you're sitting around contemplating things, whether you are formally meditating or just staring out into space, whether you have a book in your lap and you've read some of it and it's made you look up and stare out into the world of your interior, I think all that is good for you as a person, but it's necessary as a writer. You can't really write without doing some brooding, some contemplation.
How long does it take you to brood, contemplate, and write a book, Daniell?
Well, it really depends. It depends when you start. I mean, when you start thinking about the contemplation, it's hard to trace it to its source. But yeah, when I get interested in something, I begin reading about it and thinking about it, and I make a pile of things on my desk. I start to write things down on index cards. I don't know why I'm holding up index cards to the camera. Probably most people know what index cards look like. But I have them in little piles and little clipped together as I begin to think about them. And that takes a few months. And then if I decide it's time to dive in, I dive in. It's usually about 6 months-ish to a year-ish for a draft of a book, depending on what the book is. And then I put it away for a while, which counts as brooding and contemplation on the part of both us and the manuscript. I used to keep it in the crisper of the refrigerator. So if the house burnt down, the manuscript would not be destroyed. And then I'm, what's the word I'm looking for? Married to this lovely woman, Lisa Brown, an illustrator and author in her own right. And she and I had I would say something of a tense conversation about whether the crisper in the refrigerator is for manuscripts or is it for vegetables? Is it for manuscripts or is it for vegetables? And at the end of the conversation, my wife bought me a fireproof box. So I no longer keep my manuscripts in the crisper of the refrigerator. I keep them in a fireproof box. It's a very satisfying fireproof box. It looks, if you saw it in a movie, you would say, that's where they're hiding the diamonds. I know it. That's where they are. And so I put my manuscript there, sometimes for 6 months, sometimes for a year even, which is very exciting. And then I open it up and I look at it again, and it's terrible, of course, but I'm better equipped to make it better because it's been gone for me for a year. So I'm able to say, oh, yes, I see what the trouble is now.
Wait, so it chills in there, pun intended, for a whole year, and then you take it out. And
Then I take it out and I read it and I think, oh, yes, now I see how to make it better. Whereas if I went right to the second draft, I wouldn't know what I was doing. Yeah. And now the crisper is for vegetables and the fireproof box is for my manuscripts in contemplation.
Where do you keep the fireproof box?
I keep it in a little closet.
Huh?
If I were very ambitious, I would pick up this computer and show you because it's not that far away. But then you would see what a hideous mess the closet is. But it's a closet where I keep miscellaneous secretarial supplies and my bags. It's like on my way out, I grab one of my bags to put my things in.
Yeah.
I have too many bags, so I.
What was in the fruit drawer?
Sorry?
What was in the fruit drawer?
What was in, or was it?
Yeah,
now?
the pages were in the crisper. What was in the fruit drawer?
Oh,
what was in the cheese drawer?
Everything, like the fruit and the vegetables. It was just that it was overwhelming the refrigerator.
Oh my God. Lori Lee is saying it keeps your pages crisp. LOL. Lori,
that's an example of something that after a year of contemplation, you would make that joke better.
I love it. We're vibing. Melissa is saying, how funny is Daniell? I'm going to say very funny. I am still.
Watson. I'm looking at Melissa Watson and she appears to have an alarming face. I hope that's the face of her dog.
Melissa's here all the time. She's a top community member, and I always say I love popping her comments up because I love to see her cute little dog. Oh my gosh, it makes me so happy. Yeah. I love dogs. So Daniell,
you have a dog?
I do have a dog. She's at REM 5 right now, napping at my feet.
My dog is napping in the ray of sunshine over there.
Yay! Cindy says you collect a brood of index cards. So Daniell,
I like an inventive collective noun. Well done, Cindy Bailey.
Cindy's going to get an A.
I'm going to call the Oxford English Dictionary, see what we can do, see if we can get you in there.
I love it. So Daniell, kicking it old school with the index cards. Do you write in Microsoft Word? Do you write in Scrivener? What are you writing in longhand?
With a Uniball pen.
The whole draft? Pad. That's what went in the crisper?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So I write with Uniball pen and a legal pad, and then when it feels time to type it up, I type it up. But I like to write longhand. I started doing that when my wife and I had, what's the word for that? A baby. We had one of those babies. You guys ever had those before? And so they're very cute when they're born and distracting. And so I started to write outside the house for the first time because otherwise all I wanted to do was kind of eat the baby all up. And so I started writing in libraries and cafes. But what I realized was that if you drink a continuous pot of green tea and perhaps some sparkling water, and then you are writing continuously on your laptop, then you need to use the restroom every so often. And what do? If you bring the laptop with you to the restroom, you look creepy. If you ask a stranger to watch it, you need to review the definition of a stranger. If you say, I'm afraid a stranger is going to steal my laptop, will you, stranger, watch my laptop? Then that goes confusing. So suddenly it hit me that I could start bringing legal pads instead because nobody steals those. And actually, if you're in a corner of a cafe or a library and you're writing in longhand on a legal pad, people assume you're a crazy person. It looks like you're writing some kind of, terrorizing manifesto. So they leave you alone. And then also I like writing on a thing that is not also my TV and my radio and my inbox and my what else? Photo album.
Yes, exactly.
My catalog. It's not all of the things that the screen has become. I like it being just my thing of writing a book. I like that when you write on paper, you don't have to come up with a title right away, unlike on a computer. When you write 2 words on a computer and you save it, and it says so what do you want to call it? And you're like, I just started, I don't know.
Yeah.
And this way you're able to do that. I like when you cross out a word and then you're not sure you crossed it out, so you just put a little cross out and you're like, is it still there? Is it not still there? Which you can't do on paper. I mean, you can't do on screen. You can only do on paper.
That.
So that's what I love. I do love that.
Susan saying old school pens in longhand. She loves it. All right. How many of y'all are still writing by longhand? How many write letters? How many are computer people? Let us know in the comments.
Yes.
Brandy says, one of my favorite videos saved in my phone is of Daniell singing to my son and me at a book signing. He had us cracking up. We went to see his presentation twice during the Tweens Read Fest. Love his books and could listen to him talk all day. Brandy, what did he sing? And Daniell, can we get an encore?
I don't remember what I sang. I must confess, I am not immune to bursting into song, but I hope Ms. Couch won't be angry to know that I have no particular memory of the song that I sang.
No,
I'm flattered that she thinks she could listen to me talk all day. That's one of those things that you feel almost obliged to test out.
Daniell, give us a little ditty. Sing us a song that involves the word poison. What poison?
Let's see. A song involves the word poison. All I can think of is Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe, which I can't really sing. I just kind of remember that song. But I guess I would have to say, I hope it wasn't poison that was there on my plate. If I am dying, I will resign to fate.
Yay! Brandy, now Brandy, now you have a second video. That's for you, Brandy. I love it. Oh, she said you made up a song about how it must be our wedding day in a gymnasium. It was so perfectly odd.
Well, as with many, accusations that come out of the blue, I'll have to say it sounds like me. That sounds like something I would do.
That does sound like that feels like Lemony Daniell. I love it. Brandy's saying it was awesome. Oh, Stephanie Cooper's here. Stephanie, hey girl. Hey, welcome. Bookstagrammer extraordinaire. Fire Pit and Books on Instagram. Follow her. Her book pics are lit. Pun intended. Cindy is saying
I think all of your puns are intended.
They are.
That's what I'm realizing.
I'll be here all night. Dun, 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 dun. Cindy's saying you can use a laptop lock strung around the table. Oh my God. If you can you guys picture Daniell running in a cafe and he just whips out a chain and he chains his laptop to the table?
Yeah. Other people have suggested guard dogs and like a monitor, just like a bouncer. Yeah. Which would be handy because I feel like not a lot of bouncers have a job in the daytime. It kind of feels like a nighttime job for me. So if a bouncer needed to pick up some extra cash, they could just stand near me and look.
Exactly. Yeah. Palu the Wonder Pup, my little Palu's available for rent, for hire. Cindy said she writes both. Whatever comes to me, she runs and writes it. I love it. Stephanie,
what are you running from? That part seems like
what are you running from, Cindy?
Yeah.
She's running toward the idea.
About it. This is the internet. She doesn't want everyone to know what she's running from.
Stephanie says we're cracking her up. She says, I freaking love you. You're the best interviewer in existence. I would watch you read the phone book. Oh my God, Stephanie Cooper, you're amazing. I love you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, you seem nice, Stephanie Cooper. Who's that fellow with you in your picture? That's what we want to know.
I think that's our hunky hubs.
Oh yeah?
Yay.
Charming Mr. Cooper or Mr. something else, perhaps? We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if he took her name.
Stephanie is she could be a Lemon. We don't know. She could be another Lemon Snicket relative. We don't know yet. We're gonna have to see.
I don't know her that well.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I want to make sure I'm not missing.
Stranger on the internet though. So how could that go wrong?
Exactly.
I'm just gonna write her a check right away.
No, Stephanie is amazing. She says that is her hottie husband. Ooh, yes, I like it. I like it. Their love burns brightly.
Oh, I'm glad. I would hate to think of them becoming estranged and then admitting it to us in the middle of an interview. That seems off to me.
Daniell, Emma Jean Russell Williams in The Guardian wrote about Poison for Breakfast, that this little book feels like opening a window to let in air and light, filled with curious information and powerful feelings, humorous, sad, meditative, and rapturous.
That's nice.
How do you capture all of those emotions? Let's talk craft. How do you get in there? How do you write a rapturous book? How do you write something that is full of powerful feelings? Because it's actually really hard to write powerful feelings without coming off cheesy, preachy, or downright annoying. Give us the skinny.
I will endeavor to do so by quoting a friend and a fantastic writer who I recommend. Her name is Michelle T. T-E-A, as in the beverage that you occasionally drink or drink all the time, depending on your personality. And she always says about writing, you have to make a mess and then you have to clean up. And so I try to make a mess with my index cards, make a long, wild first draft where I put everything possible in there. I don't hold myself back at all. And then when I pull it out of the fireproof box, then I start to clean it up. But I think you have to do both things. I think you can't cut out either things. You can't cut out making a mess, and you can't cut out cleaning up. Those are things you can't do.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. What gives you the ideas for your books? They're dark, they're intense. Where did the idea for Poison for Breakfast, where did the genesis of this idea, the nucleus, where did it come from?
I was trying to convince a child of my acquaintance to eat an egg. There's a long section about eggs, a very opinionated section in this book about eggs. I think eggs are very important. And so I said to this young person, please eat this egg. It's not poison. And the child said, well, the thing is, when I'm done eating this egg, I will be closer to the moment of my death. So actually, it is poison. And I thought, well, that seems quite interesting and startling. And I wrote it down on a scrap of paper. I wrote, you had poison for breakfast. And then I began to think, and other scraps of paper followed. Yeah.
Wait, how old was this kid with the egg poison moment?
I think the child was maybe 10 at the time.
Wait, were you the child?
No. I love eggs.
Child?
I've always loved an egg. Yeah.
Oh
no, it was a child that was, having breakfast at my house. And so I felt that I should give the child something delicious, such as an egg. And then for some reason, I just became ornery, as I sometimes do. When you do something for a child and they don't want the thing that you've done, even though you've done it and you didn't ask them beforehand if they wanted it. So it's really your fault. But instead you get ornery and you think, why don't you just eat what I made you or wear what I brought you or whatever it is. Go over there, put your seatbelt on, all the things that you have to tell them to do.
Indeed, indeed. Sheila is saying you are one of her all-time favorite authors. Oh, yay, Sheila.
Sheila? Sheila looks like she has a husband as well, unless that's some other guy.
Yay. So I am
cheap gossip for everyone's avatars, but
Lori is saying she loves that trouble artwork behind Lemony. Daniel, tell us the story of the artwork, Daniel.
I'm trying to point the right direction.
Did a fan create it? Did you create it? What's going on?
No, it's just there's not really a story about that particular piece of art, except that it is in my office because I think that's where story comes from. I think story comes from trouble.
Ooh.
So when I don't know what to do, I look at that and I think trouble. That's what it's about, trouble. Over here on the other side, I really can't get the mirror reflection right. On here on the other side is a portrait of Herman Melville done by Carson Ellis, an illustrator I've worked with a lot, and I like her. And that illustration appeared in the New Yorker magazine. And so I saw the illustration and I went right to my phone and I called Carson Ellis and I said, I would like to buy that portrait of Herman Melville. And she said, you can't. I just sold it to someone. And I said, how could you just sold it to someone? The magazine just came out. No one ever heard of this before. Come on.
Yeah.
But I sold it to someone. I can't tell you anything more. And then it turned out that my wife had purchased it for me.
No. Yeah. Stop it. Oh my gosh. That's the cutest story. Wait, did your wife hear you say that? Or she just knew?
No, my wife and I both looked at the thing and we both were like, we got to buy it for this person. And we were trying to buy it for each other at the same time almost. It was great.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You're getting so many hearts up. This is so romantic and lovely. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love it. This is so
I think
cool.
Stephanie Cooper's thinking to herself, wait a minute, I could be married to Lisa Brown. That's what I could be doing. I don't have to be with my hunka husband anymore. How about a woman who reads my mind and buys me art? How about that?
Yeah, something I think of frequently when my husband fails to do the dishes. Stephanie's agreing this is the most romantic thing ever.
Once again, my relationship has surpassed that of Stephanie Cooper. That's how it goes.
I don't know. Stephanie seems to have some pretty romantic moments happening her way, at least according to her social media. They go out for lunch. They're all lovely.
They go out for lunch.
They go for lunch. It's a thing.
Yeah. My wife and I go out for lunch. We have a special restaurant for dealing with annoying logistics. You know, when you're like, oh, one of us has to fly on Tuesday, but then the other one, and then there's like a dental appointment we got, and then we say like, hey, we'll go to lunch. And we go to this Thai restaurant with great noodles, and we sit down, and it feels like an occasion instead of an annoyance.
Oh, I love that. That's really
Oh, look,
cool.
it's a whippet named Ava is Melissa Watson's dog.
I
Fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. And she is saying this is an amazing and vivid imagination that you have
Oh,
in there. Stephanie's sharing that
you
her
flatter me,
ex-husband
Melissa Watson.
bought her a fabulous Wyland piece.
Ex-husband. Yeah. She was like,
She didn't
great
like it
piece.
that much.
I'm out of here. I met a new hunk.
She's exactly. She said she's hanging up in her new house with her current husband. Hey, she got the art and a new husband. It's a win-win.
Yeah, and she hung up the new husband? Now I'm confused.
No, the picture.
Oh, the picture.
Sheila would like to know. I'm going to make the lemony gold dance. She said, talk about your book. I remember that one with a split personality years ago. Lemony, Daniell, tell us about this book some more.
Some more about this book. One of the things that the book talks about, it talks a little bit about writing. So it talks about that there are 3 rules for writing. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Everybody have a Uniball pen and a legal pad to write down the 3 rules. The first rule is to always include the element of surprise, which I think is might come naturally because life is really surprising. And I think the thing with the element of surprise, see, it's really interesting. I think the element of surprise. The other thing would be always make sure there's missing information, which is easy to do when you have a big messy first draft and then you're going to clean it up, is that you can cut out some of the information so you have missing information, because missing information is always intriguing, right? If someone says, oh, yeah, I actually had a first husband and he bought me some incredible art, then you think like, but what happened? What happened? First husband? And you're very intrigued. So missing information. Those are the first 2 rules. The first, we're just going to review, include the element of surprise. The second, missing information, and nobody knows what the third rule is. Yeah.
I see what you did there, Daniell Handler. The art of missing information.
Yeah. No one knows. So those are the 3 rules of writing that are included in the book. The book also, what else does we talk about? It talks about a mysterious author who wrote books that he said were translated from ancient Sanskrit manuscripts, but don't appear to be. And then, as I said, it's very opinionated about eggs. How do you like your eggs?
I like them scrambled. I also like huevos rancheros.
Scrambled is the wrong answer.
I disagree. I think your answer is the wrong answer. I don't even know what it is.
You ought to perhaps read the passionate argument against scrambled eggs that is in Poison for Breakfast by Lemony
I only know this is what I know. This is what I know to be true, Daniell Handler, Lemony Snicket. I am an Italian woman. I am a passionate cook.
Okay.
3 members of my family went to culinary school.
Okay.
Don't step to me about food. That's what I know.
Okay. Here's the thing I know about scrambled eggs.
Okay.
They almost immediately get cold and clammy.
How long are your eggs sitting there?
Here's another. I was on a chef's podcast just recently talking about this, and he said the thing is that you need to salt the eggs 30 minutes before making them. And I was like, 30 minutes? 30 minutes before I'm having scrambled eggs, I'm fast asleep. What are you talking about? So yes, I think, and that
30 minutes.
Whenever people try to sell me on scrambled eggs, they add things to it, and you did it immediately. Huevos rancheros. Huevos rancheros are delicious, of course.
I love huevos.
But when huevos rancheros are made with scrambled eggs, which is incorrectly, of course, but when they are, there's beans, there's tortilla, there's maybe a little avocado, there's a little cilantro, there's of course salsa, there's probably a little melted cheese, everything to disguise the fact that scrambled eggs are no fun whatsoever.
Melissa is wildly entertained by our conversation.
I'm not afraid to say the controversial things online. I don't like scrambled eggs. There, I said it.
And I do. And I said it. Sheila would like to know about your book. She said she's thanking you for the information from writer, from talking about craft of writing, talking about writing. But she says, I'm a reader. Tell us something about your book for readers, just for readers.
For readers. Well, there's, I'll say, a digression about famous philosophical conundrums that are ably illustrated here by Margot Kent. There is a long discussion that actually solved the problem of whether the chicken or the egg comes first. There are sections on injustice. The book is dedicated to a woman that I refer to as the shoemaker, who's a woman from my own family who had kind of incredible and horrific things happen to her, and also had a vivid and powerful imagination. So if you were interested in literature, which as a reader I would assume that you were, and you are interested in engaging in the contemplation and wool gathering that comes with the literary life, then you might enjoy this book with its little disco letters. And if you aren't, then maybe enjoy something else.
Lori Lee is saying, LOL, sage advice, Lemony.
Sage
Susan
advice. That's
saying,
another thing that people put in scrambled eggs to pretend that they're better. A little sage.
I love sage. Exactly. And sometimes I like to put in cream cheese. Susan is saying she loves it. This is so great.
Nice.
I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anybody's comments because these are so great. I think I missed a few back here. Stephanie's saying she loves a good domestic thriller. So if the hot husband goes missing, we'll know where to look, Stephanie.
Yeah. Alert the authorities.
Let's see.
You can't really have more than one husband go missing. I think that would be, you'd almost guarantee getting caught. You can make missing only more than one.
Exactly. That's about one shot at this. Sheila's clarifying that's her son, not her husband.
Actually, she doesn't say that it's not her husband.
That's right. She just says it is her son.
We asked if it was her husband. She didn't say, no, it's not my husband. So perhaps something really unusual is going on.
It could be a series of very unfortunate events. Yeah. Lori would like to know, what surprising things do you learn when you write? Do you have any writing quirks? I'm going to guess he does. Let's hear about the quirks, Daniel.
A thing that I like to eat a lot while writing is a raw carrot.
So I thought you were going to say an egg, not scrambled.
No. I also, I'm kind of a fidgeter and a tosser. And so I usually have on my desk quite a few unsharpened pencils so that I can kind of toss around. I used to, of course, toss around regular pencils like a regular person, but I was stabbed so many times and have like ink, pencil lead embedded that I've full unsharpened pencil. So if you look sometimes at my desk at the end of a long workday, there will be a few ends of raw carrots, just some little greenery from the very end.
Like a Bugs Bunny, like yum, 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 yum.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But again, some people in my family are of the opinion that I should just chop off the green ends right away. But some people are saying, but what if I'm in the middle of a paragraph and I just need another carrot and I run and go get one?
How many do you eat per day?
A lot. I would guess I eat 7 per day.
7 carrots per day? Wow.
7 raw carrots. Yeah. Okay. Or do you say words? I don't know how many words I write a day because I write them on a legal pad, but I write about, I would say 7 or 8 pages on a legal pad every day when I'm writing. I write a lot because I'm trying to make a mess and then I'll clean it up later.
Fueled by 7 raw carrots.
Yeah.
Okay. This is good to know. What about anything weird that you discover or anything that you discover at all whilst writing?
I mean, mostly I discover what the book is. I think the book is going to be one thing, and then it is always kind of another thing.
So you don't plot?
I do plot, but I consider the outline kind of like a warm-up thing to do. Actually, whenever I say outline, you know what I think of? I think of that chalk drawing that they do around a corpse, like a police procedural. That's the kind of outline I picture. And then I always think, well, that is an outline because it tells you how the story ended. There's the dead person on the sidewalk, but it doesn't really tell you the whole story. So you have an outline, so I kind of know where I think I'm going. But then I also know that you have to, you have to let things go a little wild. Tom Waits says about creative energy that you can't get all of your chickens lined up in the yard. The only way to get all your chickens lined up in the yard is if they all die of heat exhaustion. You have to let some of them run around. You have to have a little bit of wild running around.
Are your chickens running, Daniel?
I don't really have chickens. We're having actually a small rodent drama in our backyard here in San Francisco. So I'm glad that we don't have any chickens because that would make the whole thing even more noisy and alarming than it already is. We already lost our Meyer lemon tree. If anyone's out there, they can pour a little out for my lost Meyer lemon tree.
Oh, to the lemon tree.
Yeah, the rats they love the Meyer lemons. And so they ate them all and they wouldn't stop. And so the tree was a victim. Yeah. No matter how many we tried to gather ahead of time, no matter how many Meyer lemon sidecars we made when the cocktail hour came rolling around, still the rats won the day.
Wow. Still the rats won the day. Yeah. People are chiming in on their egg thoughts and I'm here for it. Benedict says, Sheila, and you know what? I love eggs, Benny. Cindy is saying poached and soft boiled.
There you go. Bailey's my breakfast date.
I love poached and I make a very good poached with the whirling white vinegar vortex and I make a really good hollandaise again.
Oh, yeah? How about a zabaglione? It seems like you would make a good zabaglione.
Exactly. I can do it. I can do it all, Danielle. Oh, Lori says she's team sunny side up. We
All
got
right.
an outlier here.
Perfectly defensible.
Stephanie says she loves eggs as long as they're cooked, but her favorite eggs are Benedict. Okay, team Benny for Stephanie. Sheila says cooked by relatives occupation is not a thing. Isn't it? I don't know, Sheila. You haven't been to my house for dinner yet.
Yeah.
Salt on eggs is pukey, says Stephanie. Is blah.
Yeah, she's very opinionated on this egg issue. I like it.
Cold scrambled eggs is a horrible way to go.
Horrible.
She's
when you eat a tablespoon of cold scrambled eggs, you don't recuperate for about 3 weeks.
That's medical advice from Lemony.
Yeah.
She said she's in California. She loves huevos. Stephanie, huevos are so good. Sheila's saying Daniel's the American version of Jasper Fforde. I don't know who Jasper Fforde is. I'm going to have to Google that right after this.
He's a lovely author. I have to think about that.
Does this resonate, Danielle?
Well, I don't know him personally or anything, but I enjoy his work. And maybe, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I'll have to think about that later. I don't want to think about it now. I'll think about it later. But I do like that he has 2 F's at the beginning of his name, which makes it a good crossword answer.
Well, get ready for this. Melissa says cream cheese and scrambled eggs is awesome. Team Sarah. Ooh, thanks, Melissa. I knew I liked you. And
Ava would be ashamed of you right now.
No, Ava and Paleo are right now.
No.
Stephanie says, what the
Whip it.
WTF? Oh. Who is this guy? Stephanie, welcome to the man, the mystery, the enigma wrapped in the mystery that is Lemony Snicket, that is Mr. Daniell Handler.
True.
She wants to know if she can call you Bugs once you're on your 7th carrot.
Oh, because of my 7th carrot. I thought she was like, it was something like a bug-eyed experience that she was referring to.
No, I think she means
very bug-eyed
carrot addiction.
I don't know. I mean, this is something she would have to clear with her second husband.
Though. Look at this. She said you're her new favorite. Don't tell her hot husband.
Oh my goodness.
Bam. And you're both in California.
I've ended another marriage here on Facebook Live.
Oh my God. And you guys could buy awesome artwork for each other. You could be like, and here's something I got for you. And here's something I got for you. Bam.
Yeah,
bam.
Because I'm very happy with my wife. It's the Stephanie Cooper who keeps discarding these guys. Like
based on the blissful lunch selfies I see on lighting up Stephanie's feed, she's happy too. Sheila's weighing in with sadness for the lemony tree.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Daniel, we think you should write about the lemony tree, the war of the rats.
I have thought about it. There's some creatures in Poison for Breakfast. There's a discussion of some birds, and there's a discussion of some bees. There's a discussion of some chickens, as I mentioned. There's some goats. I write about
in
another
your yard?
Experiencing
You
goats.
have a goat?
No, but here in San Francisco, there are a handful of herds of goats that are used for gardening purposes all around the parks of San Francisco. So you start driving around and then you think to yourself, did I just drive by a bunch of goats? And then you go around the block and you said, yes, I did. And once I talked to the man who was in charge of the goats, and he said it was very boring. And I said he should bring a book. And he said that he brought a book, but the goats ate it.
Oh my God. Sheila, weirdly, I always imagined Daniel living in New York too. Daniel, why do we think you're a New Yorker? Sheila and I are both picking up this New York vibe.
I lived in New York for a little bit while my wife was attending graduate school. But I wasn't really into it. And then when we left New York, whenever I would go back to New York to visit, people would say like, "Oh, you'll come back. You'll be back." They were like haunted trolls. Because right then, California had just banned smoking in bars, for instance, but New York was still like a cesspool of cigarettes everywhere. And so I would go visit my friends and it would just be like full of smoke. And then we'd go to like one of those restaurants that's like not that good, but it's still $125 a person. And then they would say like, "You'll be back. You'll come back here." And I would think to myself, I'm not even think I'm going to come back after I go to the restroom right now. I think I might have to.
Lemony is last seen running back to his lemon tree. Sheila's saying, Daniel's writing somewhat darker than Jasper's. Okay.
I would agree with that assessment as well.
You heard it here first. Daniel, you got Abby Petrie wrote, "We are bewildered," Snicket says. "Despite this novel being written before COVID, this message resonates deeply in our present world." So you wrote it before. You anticipated the language. You anticipated the lost feeling.
Well, or I just have it all naturally. Yeah, I wrote it. I had an unexpected window of summer when I wrote this book. I thought I was going to spend all summer a few years ago in Vancouver, where Netflix was filming an adaptation of a series of unfortunate events. I thought I was going to be there all summer, but then Netflix said, we're tired of you, Daniell. And so they pushed me away, and I suddenly had like basically the summer free. I felt like an 11-year-old. The summer free, what kind of grown-up has a free summer? And so I began to go to the library every day in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where I was. And started to work on this book. I didn't know what it was. No one knew I was writing a book. It was a very secret and delicious feeling. And and I put it away in a crisper for a while. And so by the time it was published, I was after COVID, but it wasn't written. I was not written during COVID time. But I think the bewildering times that we're in should resonate. But life was bewildering before COVID too. Just we've made up that it sounds like a paradise before that.
Exactly.
The longer it goes, the longer this period goes in history, the more people are like, oh, before COVID, there was free candy bars on every corner and a bird would just magically come on your shoulders. Everything was wonderful.
But exactly. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Well, it looks like we are out of time, y'all, because this time has flown. Daniell, any parting thoughts, words of wisdom, things you wish I'd ask? What do you want to tell us?
I would like to say that I find literature to be a lifesaver. I find holding a book in my hand and reading sentences that people have contemplated to be a life-changing and life-affirming event. And I'm grateful for people who want to come onto a screen and listen to people talk about it and talk about themselves. And so I salute you, fellow friends of literature. We're all in the same secret organization of beauty and taste.
Yay. Oh, I love that. I love that. Sheila is saying I read the entire series of unfortunate events aloud to my children. I still have all of the books.
And look, at least one of the children grew up, because there he is. We know you have a son.
Yay.
Grown up.
Cindy saying thank you both.
Thank you, Bailey. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you.
Brandy says she can't wait. She downloaded the audiobook to listen to on her ride to work and school. Thanks for giving us such fun, sarcastic things to read. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's comments. Thank you guys so much for being here. Stephanie is saying, thanks for entertaining me. Now I kind of want to read your books.
I understand. Yeah.
Sheila's saying, thanks for appearing. Melissa says, thanks, Daniell. So entertaining. Lori says, thank you. Y'all, I want to remind you that Daniell's book is out and you too can have poison for breakfast. See what I did there? And you can support independent bookstores. You can support this independent bookstore when you buy Poison for Breakfast here at Murder by the Book. So I am going to plop the link right here in the comments so you can click on it, and you too can be entertained by Daniell's wildly witty, wonderfully funny sense of humor. So grab it. It is right here. Stephanie is saying she's giving us hearts of fire up. And y'all, I will see you at 8 p.m. 7 Central, 5 Pacific, aka in 17 minutes with Amanda Giatisa.
Oh my goodness. Look at the endless work that you do. Give it up for our charming host for all she does for other authors. It's quite affirming and delightful.
Oh, thank you so much, Daniell. I appreciate it. It's been such a joy having you on. Have a great night, all.